Hi, today I'm going to be presenting the newest AMC 2020 AMC problem number 20. A scientist walking through a forest records as integers the height of 5 trees standing in a row. She observed that each tree was either twice as tall or half as tall as the one to its right. Unfortunately, some of her data was lost when rain fell on her notebook. Her notes are shown below with blanks indicating the missing numbers. Based on her observations, the scientist was able to reconstruct the lost data. What was the average height of the trees in meters? So the way we're going to solve this problem is, we know that the sum of all the trees' heights is the average height times 5, because the average height is tree 1 plus tree 2 plus tree 3 plus tree 4 plus tree 5 over 5, because that's what average is. If we multiply by 5, we'll get the sum of the tree heights. So we know one of these is the average. If we multiply by 5 to the corresponding values of A, B, C, D, and E, then if we find the sum of the trees, we can just look at the corresponding sum of the heights of the trees and then match it whatever the real option choices are. So what we're going to do is multiply all of them by 5. A becomes 111, B becomes 121, C is 166, D is 176, and E is 186. We just multiplied them by 5. Okay, now, this is the diagram over here. We know that tree 1 has to be 22. It can't be 5.5. It can only be 22. The reason that 5.5 and 22, I said it was only 5.5 or 22, is because that she observed that each tree was either twice as tall or half as tall as the one to its right. That means this over 2, tree 1 over 2, or tree 1 times 2 is 11. And that's just 11 over 2 or 11 times 2. And they have to be integers, so it can only be 22. It can't be 5.5. Even though 5.5 times 2 is 11, it has to be 22, because the heights of the trees are integers. Tree 3 also has to be 22 for the same reason, because 11 over 2 is 5.5, and we can't have that. And it's twice as tall as tree 2. Now, tree 4 can be two options, 11 or 44. Let's first try with 11. Let's say tree 4 is 11. So now tree 5 has to be 22, because it can't be 5.5 for the same reason. Has to be 22. So now tree 5 is 22. Let's add these all up and see if we get any of these option choices. If not, then that means tree 4 is not 11. So when we add these, we get 88, and 88 is not one of the answer choices. So that means tree 4 is not 11. So that means tree 4 must be 44. If tree 4 is 44, tree 5 can be two options, 22 or 88, because 44 over 2 and 44 times 2. 44 over 2 is 22. Let's try with 22 first. So now if we add these all up, if we find an option choice that matches, we already know that option choice is the answer. So let's add it. 44 plus 22 plus 22 plus 11 plus 22 is 121. And that's option choice number B. And if we find the average, we just divide by 5. That's still B, because we multiplied by 5 earlier to the corresponding values. So we already know the answer is B. But just for fun, let's try 88 also. So let's replace that with 88 right here. So now let's add it all up and see if we still get an answer choice. We shouldn't. If we do, then we know something's wrong. 88 plus 44 plus 22 plus 11 plus 22 is 187, and 187 is not one of the option choices. It's one more than 186. That's very close, but it's not exact. So the answer is B.